When I am having difficulty meditating and releasing all thought, I will sit and just think thoughts of appreciation. Is that enough, or should I be continually reaching?
Good for you if you can do it. If you're having so much difficulty that you can't quiet your mind, thoughts of appreciation are on the other side of the moon.
So I guess what it is I think about good, I'll say, well, I could appreciate this, and it lets my mind be active. Am I missing something?
You're not missing anything. If you're able to do that, then that means you weren't as far away from meditating as you think. And it also tells us this. You see, the reason that we talk about meditating, and many of you, we think it's wonderful that you take time to meditate every day, but the reason that we talk about meditating, and many of you, the reason that we talk about meditating is because it's easier to show you how to have no thought at all than it is to turn a really strong negative thought into a positive one. That's like asking the impossible. I've been offering this vibration and I've been trending here a long time and I feel terrible and I'm just going to change my thought. No, you're not. You're not going to change it. You're going to fake it. You're going to smile. You're going to pretend like you feel better when you don't. And you're still going to attract more crap. And then you're going to finally give in and say, life is terrible when it isn't. But you can't fake this stuff. In other words, you've got to own up to how you're feeling. And when you don't feel good, you've got to do something about it. But really the point that we were making before we even really got started here is that if you will get out ahead of it before it gets out ahead of you. In other words, there's deliberate creating and there's creating by default. And creating by default is what most people are doing because most people are responding to what they are observing. And by the time there's something to observe, there's a lot of vibrational momentum going on. By the time you're observing it, it's well underway. So you're not just going to make it vanish by wanting it to vanish. You've got deep ties to things. So we're going to offer a series of statements. Have you been listening to us for a little while?
Yes.
So we're going to offer a series of familiar statements to you, and then as we tie them together, you're going to understand something, and it's really easy to understand. So we've been saying to you for a long time that most humans offer most of their vibration in response to what they are observing. See it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it. It's just sort of obvious why, isn't it? It's real, it's big, it's alive, it's in the room, it's yelling at you, it's doing things. In other words, it's obvious. A manifestation is an easier thing to take on than a vibration, as we were talking about earlier, or an idea. In other words, you could be in the middle of an idea and someone could walk in the room and they'll get your attention because you're observing them. And scientists have been telling you, and sociologists and those kinds of people have been telling you for a long time, that the more of your physical senses that are involved in anything, the more immersed in whatever it is you are. And there's a reason for it. It's called momentum. You're invested in it. So almost everyone is offering most of their vibration in response to what they are observing. The other phrase that we've been offering to you steadily is that words don't teach. It's life experience that teaches. Funny, we offer so many words. We offer what we're offering to you to connect you with your life experience so that you can feel some association. And as we trend together in a logical unfolding, it helps you to get some things from your own life experience. But really, until you deliberately reach for an emotion and feel around until you accomplish it. In other words, it's like trying to create the manifestation called emotion, just like you mold the clay to try to create the manifestation you call the sculpture. It's the same sort of thing. You're molding energy in order to produce an emotion. So once you accomplish the manifestation of an emotion and you relate that emotion to what you were intending and what you were thinking that accomplished it, and then you watch it manifest in more and more obvious ways, then you say, in the beginning, Esther would say, when something wonderful would happen, I did that. She knew she had done it. She did it deliberately. And when something not wonderful would happen, she would say, I did that too. Because after you get the hang of this, You don't miss that stuff. So first phrase is most offer most of their vibration in response to what they are observing. And the second phrase is that words don't teach, it's life experience that teaches. And then the last thing that we want to say before we really dive into this is that when you have a desire and a belief that matches it vibrationally, it's flowing into your experience all over the place because you're not keeping it from flowing in. You've got the door wide open, your receptive mode is wide open, and you're getting it. If you want it and doubt it, then that's not what's happening. So desire, important word. Belief, important word. Expectation is belief that trends. An expectation is a belief about something you want or something that you don't want that has been trending enough that it's a big. So if you've got a lot of doubt about something that you want, this is how it works. Here you are, sifting and sorting, evaluating, coming to conclusions. You know what you don't want, you know what you do want. And every time, even if you don't speak the words, because some things are just so obvious to the universe, when you know you don't want that, what you do want is obvious. There's a vibrational, obvious thing that happens, a rocket of desire. And it's gathered by the law of attraction, and your inner being who is there focuses upon it and causes this new addition that you ask for, causes, because of the focus of your inner being, hear this, causes the attraction of other cooperative components. So the things that you are asking for are amassing big time. You don't often know it because you don't know it till you see it. And you can't see it till you know it. That's jacked up. We know it feels like if it could just be there, then you'd believe it. But then where would be the free will for you to create whatever you want? You live in this time-space reality. You knew there would be lots of different interests, and you knew with every bit of you that everyone could live and everyone could desire and everyone could get, and that there's no law of getting it away from somebody. There's no law of blocking somebody else's path. There's no law of pushing anything away. There's just this law of attraction which says that which is likened to itself is drawn 100% every time. So when you decide that you are going to deliberately produce the manifestation of a good feeling emotion, and you've had enough of them to know what feels good. Esther loves the tree house on the Abraham-Hicks property so much, and when they were building it, 3 stories tall in the middle of 6 big trees, none of it hooked to the trees, but it goes up, and you can see the whole county almost from it. It's delicious. It was fun to build. The men who built it, every bit of it, she loved it all, she loved it all, she loved it all, and still does. Doesn't go there very often, but it's a touchstone in her pocket that she takes out and thinks about often because it is heaven on earth to her. Lovable cat, same thing. Kate and Luke, same thing. In other words, whatever it is that you know for sure that you have no split energy about, those are the touchstones that you want to use to set your vibration in motion. So we're almost finished with this explanation, and this will tie into everything that we talk about today. Once you have accomplished that manifestation called good feeling emotion, and then you begin to notice the neighbor who never spoke to you did, and the dog that you've been wishing would come up and sniff your hand and won't, does. And you have this great timing where you find yourself, you're moving in spaces with so much complication of things to see, and you see things that you've walked by 100 times and never seen before. In other words, you get tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and everything that matters to you starts showing up in your experience, and you start connecting those dots and associating it with what you did. Now you are on the path to deliberate creation, and now you will never again not understand why something came to you, why something didn't, and you'll be pretty good at understanding what's happening with those around you as well. Their attitudes are obvious, and their attitudes represent their point of attraction, and there you go. Enough?
Yes, thank you so much.
Really good.
Thank you.
Really good.